Thank you, Pastor Scott, for being so gracious with having this service here. It's so wonderful to see everyone that Jim touched, and he was just an amazing person. He was like a dad to me, and we had a lot of really good times. And I miss him, and I know that everyone else here also misses him. I first moved up to Morgan Road. It was during the Great Recession, and I bought a little house. And Jim came out and he helped me with some tractor work. But I didn't know Jim until I met Albie over there, Shorty. I went down to Shorty's and I asked him if his big Caterpillar could come and level out the septic lines. And Shorty said, "Oh no, it doesn't leave the property." And he said, "You got to call a guy named James Bond." And I said, "James Bond?" James Bond. So I called Jim. I met him. He came down, and he was so gracious with his time and so giving, and just such a great person. And I asked him about learning how to drive a tractor, and he said, "No. The tractor comes with the operator. You know, it's not something that you just go and you jump on and learn. You know." So. We had a lot of really good times, and Jim invited me to come down to the as it was called, the Morgan Road Men's Club. It was the back of Shorty's garage, and little cork gaskets hanging up there on the walls, and little twinkle lights in the wintertime, and we just had such a great time down there. A lot of the neighborhood guys would come down, and I was talking with Jim's nephew Aaron earlier about this, and he got to go in there, and it was just a really neat experience and a neat time. And unfortunately, those sort of times you don't really realize how good it is until it's gone, and it's hard to think about that. But I'm so glad for the memories that we had, and a lot of those guys from the round table have since passed, and it's just how it goes, I guess. So when Jim told me that he worked for the Portland Police, I said, "Do you know a guy named Larry Baird?" He said, "Larry Baird? I was his field training officer, and Larry Baird was my uncle." I don't know if Larry's here yet or not, but there he is, right there. So Jim said, "Well, tell him Boom Boom says hi." And Larry said, "It was actually more like boom, 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 boom." Jim was very thorough with everything. So we had a lot of good times, and then life changed for me, and I was relieved of my first wife and relieved of the responsibility of that house. So I was able to find some property through Jim and buy that, and we started working on it just like he did when he was younger. And he had a guy named Art Koenig that helped him with everything that he did up there, and Jim paid it forward to us. And he's helped me with so many things, and we've had so many great bonfires and going up and onto the warehouse property with wood cutting permits and cutting up firewood. I've got a lot of those photos in the slideshow that we put together, and just good times. I mean, there's plenty of wood around our property we could have cut, but you couldn't go up on quads and do all that stuff. So we'd go up there and cut wood and sit there and look out over Sylvia Island, and it was just a great experience. It was a great time, and I loved each of those nights. And my wife was very accommodating too. She let me come up here in the woods and sit out in the middle of the forest and have big bonfires with Jim and the other Jim and all these guys. And it was a really special time. It was a really special time. Jim started going down to the Decoy and the Lighthouse, and little pubs down in Linton, Oregon here. And I called it Jim Times. It was about 2:30 in the afternoon that Jim would go down there and have some beers, and I wasn't able to join them all the time, of course, because I had responsibilities. I wasn't retired, still not. But Jim, I try and get down there and meet him. Whenever I called Jim to find out if he's going in, if it was right before 1 o'clock, I had to be real careful, because Jim would he liked to talk, but he'd get really short because Perry Mason starts at 1 o'clock. And he would say, Matt, let's catch up later. Perry Mason's about to start. Which is